Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Dennis Schultz. I am the Executive Director for the Blacks in Technology Foundation. If you guys aren't familiar with the Blacks in Technology Foundation, we are a nonprofit 501c3, which advocate for the promotion and inclusion of more Black people in tech. You can find our website at foundation.blacksintechnology.net. And tonight we are going to be networking like a hustler with Kanika Tolver. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you wrote the book, Career Rehab?
Hey everybody, my name is Kanika Tolver and I am from Washington, D.C. I've been in the tech industry for over 15 years. I primarily have worked in the federal government technology space. I am a project manager for the Department of Treasury. I oversee a lot of software development teams developing applications in ServiceNow. I oversee treasury.gov, which is a Drupal-based website. I've been doing project management probably since about 2008. I went to Bowie State University in Bowie, Maryland, here in the DMV area. I was born in Washington, D.C., and educated in the Prince George's County, Maryland area of the DMV. I wrote the book Career Rehab because I was at a place where I needed to rehab my own career. I needed to gut out the things that wasn't working well for me. So I wrote this book back a couple of years ago because I was testing out my own personal branding struggles. So I left my federal government job in 2014 to go to private sector, but I had to rehab my career. I had to change the way I was doing things because I was so used to being a government employee, and I had to shift my mindset to being a private sector tech employee. So I rebranded myself. Then I got into career coaching, and a lot of the things that I talk about in the book are things that have worked for me and my career coaching clients. So Career Rehab is definitely a lifestyle for me, being a brand and not an employee and networking like a hustler. These are the things that have worked for me and has helped me be able to sustain a mid-six-figure tech career.
Gotcha. So I'm just going to share a little bit about myself. So I'm, also long time in tech. I won't say how many years, but I can count them in decades. And I've definitely had situations throughout my career where I've needed to, kind of take a self-assessment and try to figure out what was going to be next. I've been laid off. I've left companies without, having a job. So when you find yourself in a situation where you're not sure what to do, or you've identified your career in one way and your personal identity has been aligned with your career, what do you tell somebody? What's the first thing that you can do, to try to get yourself back on track?
I think the first thing you need to do is do self-assessment and really identify where does your personal brand will come alive in. Especially for us as Black people, is that we have to be in the right cultures. We need the right organization support. We need to be in places where our ideas and our expertise and our education and our knowledge and even just who we are as Black people is accepted. So I think when we talk about personal branding for Black people, I think it looks a lot differently for people that are not Black. And I think it's important for us to talk about that a little bit more, because sometimes we are aligning our personal brands with employer brands that really don't want us there. So I think it's important to really vet out the type of organizations and companies you want to work for first, and to make sure that it's going to be a good fit. And then it's very important to identify what are your passions in tech. What are the things that keep you thriving and alive? Because that's still a part of your personal brand. If you like cloud, if you like to be a developer, if you like being a project manager, those are the type of things that you need to be focusing on, being laser focused on making sure that you understand in and out, so that can help you to be developed as a thought leader or an expert in that industry. And then as you identify those things, any skills or knowledge gaps that you have, you need to be working on learning those new skill sets, getting those certifications, and updating your resume and your LinkedIn profile to reflect that, because it's very important that we focus in on networking, for our future and not our past, and aligning our professional network with the type of roles that we want that are going to identify with the personal brand that we desire to build.
So you're a career coach as well. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of LinkedIn profiles. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen people make on LinkedIn? And what are some of the things that you've seen as, good examples of, best practices for LinkedIn?
I mean, LinkedIn is one of the most powerful cores networking places that we all need to be. I love LinkedIn. I love networking on LinkedIn. But I think the first thing before you even get to networking is having a solid profile. A lot of people are not going to network with you if you don't have a solid profile, meaning that your profile got to look meaty. It got to look like, it has to look like the full movie. It can't just look like the commercial or the trailer. So a lot of times people are not filling out their LinkedIn profile and fully filling out each section to show all of their experience, their education, their skill sets, their certification, because people want to see the full picture of you to see if that's even something that they should think about hitting you back for a job as a recruiter, or even hitting you back as someone that maybe they think that they could network or learn from. So one of the biggest mistakes I see is people not filling out filling out from the top to the bottom and completing the profile in a very strategic way. And the best way that you can do this is by looking at other people's profiles who have done it correctly, and you can bite their style and you can create your own personal brand on LinkedIn by looking at somebody's profile who's done it correctly.
Yeah, I always, the first thing I do anytime I'm meeting with someone, either a customer or a potential client, I always go to check out their LinkedIn profile, because you can find out a lot about people if they take the time to actually complete it. And you can also find out a lot about people who don't take the time to complete it. That tells a lot about people as well. When you were, in the process of writing the book, what gave you the inspiration to create, Career Rehab, and specifically the network, like a hustler chapter? What are some of the gems that you can give to our members if they want to go and expand their personal and professional networks, and, without giving all the goodies away in the book, maybe one or two things that you would suggest for anybody who's in the process of either looking for work or just wanting to advance in their current career?
The reason why I wrote the book is that Career Rehab is really about gutting out the stuff that's not working well and putting the things in that should be working well. It's about career renovations. It's about renovating your career. The same way we renovate a house or a kitchen or a bathroom. Sometimes our career already has this foundation, this infrastructure that's already set up, that we just need a facelift. We just need to revamp it. We just need to set it up in a different way. So rebuilding your personal brand and rethinking the way that you work was really all about us shifting our mindset from being a brand and not thinking like an employee. Because I think a lot of us, especially Black people, got the employee mindset that I'm just going to do what I'm told and I'm not going to go above and beyond to create a personal brand that's going to lead to an unstoppable career. This book is about taking back career ownership and making sure that you know that it's your responsibility to network like a hustler, to be a brand, and to make sure that you are doing the things that you need to do. Because if we think that the employers, if we think it's their responsibility, sometimes they're not going to always advocate for us and support us. So that was the main reason why I wrote this book, is because I wanted to inspire others that already had a foundation in tech or had a foundation with any career, that they can rebuild for the future that they desire. And this chapter that since we're talking about networking like a hustler today, I wrote this chapter because I am from DC. You know, as you see, I have my DC sweatshirt on today. And, you know, a lot of us come from areas where we looked up to hustlers. We saw people selling drugs. We saw people doing things that they wasn't supposed to do. And there was a lot of things that I learned from observing the people that were doing the bad things, that were out there networking like a hustler, but doing it in an illegal way, or doing illegal crimes, or selling drugs. What I learned about growing up in DC, I'm an 80s baby, during the time when it was Chocolate City. You know, DC at a time was about Chocolate City, a lot of Black people doing Black people things, right? So I wrote the book Network Like a Hustler because I said, what if I took the mindset of someone that does something bad, but took it in the mindset of being a corporate hustler? You know, you have your street hustlers and your hood hustlers, but they actually sell products. They actually build a network. They created an infrastructure to do illegal activities. What if I network like a hustler to build my network, to land tech jobs, to get more certifications, to learn from other people? So this chapter is really about focusing in on how do you take a hustler's mindset into a corporate landscape. Mm-hmm. And one of the amazing gems that I talked a lot about in the book is about networking is a two-way street. We have been conditioned to think that networking is all about me asking Dennis, how can he help me get a job? But I really haven't nurtured and developed a relationship with Dennis to really be able to get to know him and be able to get to understand, what does he know that I can learn from him? And what do I know that he can learn from me, so we can network together? So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk a lot about tonight, is that you have to foster relationships with people before you just start asking people to do something for you.
That's a very good point. And I always get hit up on LinkedIn, and I don't mind helping people, but I'm more inclined to help you if, you know, I know what you want. So be, you know, very clear on what the ask is. But two, if you come at me, you know, with something complimentary or something that can help me, then we can build a relationship. It's very difficult to build a relationship online with someone you never met. Yeah. So you have to either, one, I like people who get introductions, you know, personally. And two, you know, I like to, you know, people who actually follow, you know, I like what you did, or I read this about you, or, you know, the quote that you had in such and such was nice and it related to me this way. That's a soft introduction. I'm sure you can relate to, you know, people reaching out to you as well.
Yes, and that's one thing I talk about in the book. So if you guys want to reach out to someone that you admire from afar, or someone that has earned a certification that you're trying to earn, or they work at a company that you desire to work at, the first thing you should do is, when your introduction message, you should always edify them. Make them feel valued, meaning that you know something about them from their profile, from a post, or a certification that they earned, or maybe they went to a school that you went to. You have to personalize the message to let them know that you know something about them. People on social media, they love to feel good about themselves. So it's okay to make them feel a little bit good about who they are, and then go and introduce yourself and start to go into the conversation about why you're reaching out. Because it's something about someone praising that other person that you're reaching out to about something that they've done well, or something that you know about them, that makes them more inclined to want to basically respond back. You just ask me, hey, can I get a job at Booz Allen Hamilton, and I don't know you from a can of paint. That's not going to work in this digital age of networking.
Yeah, and I you know, I'm going to segue a little bit because you know, being IT folks, as most of the folks on this webinar are, you know, a lot of people aren't really natural extroverts. So, you know, we tend to, you know, be introverted, and, you know, it might be uncomfortable to reach out blindly. Any tips for the people who just, you know, when they hear networking, they just kind of cringe and, you know, shrivel up?
I talk about that in the book a lot, about networking as an introvert versus an extrovert. As you see, I'm definitely the extrovert. I got the big personality. I'm not scared. in-person events. But I think it's important for introverts to really focus in on quality over quantity. Focus on quality networking over like trying to like go to all events, trying to like connect with a bunch of people. I think being very strategic about building quality relationships and connecting with people at a quality level is important for people that's introverted, because you don't have to do as much work. So I think it's important for people that are introverted to really focus in on what is your why? What are you really trying to get out of it? I network with a bunch of people because I got a business, I got a book, I got a career, I got a lot of things going on. So a lot of people from different walks of life network with me, and I network with them because of what I do. But be very laser focused on, why you want to network with someone and create that strategic plan and stick to that plan. One of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about is where you should be networking at outside of LinkedIn. So Dennis, did you want us to talk about that? Like,
yeah, we can, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah, these are some gems here that I want to drop about where you guys can network with people and how you can connect with people in a different way, especially during this pandemic. So when you're attending events like this and you see people's names in the Zoom and they ask a good question, or they speak up about something and that's something that you need for yourself or for your career, or they introduce themselves in a way and that's something that you desire to be a cloud architect, or maybe that speaker is speaking, make sure that you're copying and pasting these names in these participant chats and you're taking the list of those names into LinkedIn. Because when you are in a hop-in Zoom, you're taking an online class, and you really hear people that are going in the same direction as you, or they accomplish something that you're trying to accomplish, immediately write down their name, immediately copy and paste their name into a text pad, into a blank email, or just immediately copy and paste their first and last name into LinkedIn and send them a friend request. Because sometimes you may not ever be in this virtual space with those people ever again. And you may not ever be in a Zoom meeting with that person. You may not ever be in an online class with that person. Network with them. Network with the instructors that are actually teaching the class. They have the opportunity to maybe hire you, or they may have opportunity to get you a job somewhere through their network.
I was gonna just ask you, define, what's your definition of networking? Because different people classified networking in different ways. So I just wanted to get your definition.
My definition of networking is about me learning something from you and you learning something from me. Networking is definitely about me not being a taker, but me being a giver too. That's what I look at networking. Networking has been known to, like, I just want to be a taker. I just want to take from people. I just want to get a job. I just want to, get information about how to pass that test or whatever the case may be. Or I want to sell my business. I want to sell my products and services. I think it's a two-way street. That's my definition of networking, is that I'm building a network and an infrastructure of people that I can pour into and they can pour back into me.
I like that. I like that a lot. So we got a couple of questions in the Q&A. Let's see. I think the best way to do it, if you want me to read them and I'll
you read them and
for you. All right, that sounds good. All right, so this is from Dawn. She says, I've been in litigation technology space for over 11 years. I joined a global consulting firm in September, and I've been as active on LinkedIn. Hasn't been as active on LinkedIn, partly because I'm trying to navigate my current company and figure out its social media culture. Before September, I was very active on LinkedIn, studied the algorithm, and had a couple of LI pods. Any advice on being active on LinkedIn just to stay engaged with my network rather than the goal of getting a job or building clients?
Very good question. So networking is definitely not just about sending someone a DM message and asking them a question. Networking you can indirectly network by being engaged with people's posts, what they post, constantly commenting on good content that is related to the things that you're interested in your career. Resharing content is another way that you can network, because the person that basically posted something will get a notification that you reshared their post. Another way that you can network is also making sure that you are attending other people's events like this. A lot of people that follow me on LinkedIn, they're here tonight probably because they're my LinkedIn connection. You know, they saw me post the flyer or whatever and things like that. Networking is a very good on LinkedIn, because you can also network within professional groups. So if you guys want to be a cloud engineer, a project manager, a developer, join those professional groups on LinkedIn, because you can also get the information that you need from the people that already accomplished the things that you want to accomplish, and you can start to build your network in a closed community.
All right, cool. All right. Next one, this is if you are just starting off as a junior developer, for example, how are you able to offer someone something when realistically you have nothing? Everybody has something. How do you get away from a transactional conversation when the junior developer doesn't have much to offer?
So you junior developer, this is what you have to offer. You always have something to offer. Junior developers or people that are transitioning into tech and they have very limited professional experience, the best way that you can network, and when you introduce yourself, whether it's to recruiters, whether it's to a mentor, someone that you want to mentor you, whether it's to a hiring manager, is to showcase your projects. Have an online portfolio of the work that you have done through development, meaning create WordPress, Medium, whatever free online platform you want to use. Showcase and show me something. Show me something that you built. Show me something that you created. I will believe in your ability to be able to get a junior role. So don't just come to the conversation empty-handed. Show me a little bit of what you learned, even if it's a certification that you just earned. Be able to show something, because that's going to build the foundation of your career.
All right. Cool. The questions are coming in fast and furious now. Okay. All right. Could you elaborate on how to network with a teacher?
Network with a teacher? Mm-hmm. The best way to network with a teacher, I'll share a quick story. I was a really good, outstanding student at my college, and I got my first internship at Verizon, not Verizon Wireless, but Verizon, the corporate company Verizon, through a teacher. Teachers usually get emails about opportunities. So the best way is to go to your professors and ask them, do they know of any internships? Give them a copy of your resume. And that was how I got into my first tech job, was through a professor seeing that I was a bright and shining star. And he got an email from someone, and he said, my maiden name used to be Drew. He said, Drew, I got this internship. I think you'll be perfect for it. You should apply. We need to go to our professors and ask them, do they know old students, alumni, and do they know other corporations and organizations that are hiring?
Absolutely. Just a quick plug for Blacks in Technology. We have an education committee where we're reaching out to different universities and professors to develop those relationships. So yeah, you never know who knows who and who's going to give you that next opportunity. So yeah, absolutely agree. All right, next one. Chuck, he recently won a hackathon. I posted the winner on my social media, and it was a huge networking benefit. What else can I do for exposure?
So in my book, I talk about how to market yourself like ads. This is a really popular chapter in the book. Market yourself like ads. So ads stands for accomplishing, dominating success. We are human ads. The same way we see ads on the highway, commercials on TV, ads on social media. This is the best way you can market yourself like an ad. You can create a YouTube channel. You can write an ebook. You can create a blog. You can start doing presentations at the Blacks in Technology virtual conference. these are opportunities for you to showcase your knowledge and your skill sets outside of just getting a degree or outside of just getting a certification. So it's very important that we take the non-traditional route and we just stop leaning into a LinkedIn profile and a resume. That ain't gonna cut it no more. We're gonna have to take it up higher, and you can have your own anything. You could do anything you want. So this is very important to take it a little bit higher. After you do the hackathons, start actually applying to speaking engagements about development and showcase your development skills at a conference.
All right, all right. Michael has a question. He says, as someone who is in a non-traditional career looking to break into tech, being able to engage and give a pitch is important. What is the best way as someone who is looking to get into tech to give a good pitch and tell their story and be effective in doing so?
So those that are transitioning into tech or doing a pivot or they're in another industry, I get a lot of direct messages about this because everyone wants to get into tech. The best thing you can do is first start to really identify your path in tech. It is so important to figure out, how do I mash up my past with my future, right? If I was in sales, how do I mash up sales with tech? If I was in finance, how do I mash up that with tech? It's important to figure out a way to think about the things that's transferable and think about the things that you want to do in tech and to revamp your resume. And as you're pitching and as you're getting new skill sets, learning new skill sets, getting new certifications or getting new college degrees, that you are mashing those up, because the things that you accomplish, they still count. The things that you accomplish, they still count. They may not count 100% into tech, but there are things that you did that will help you get into a tech role. So I think it's important by being strategic about where you want to go and where you've been, and mirroring that up together and being real with recruiters and hiring managers about that, because they're willing to give folks a chance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Tim says his profile is complete, but makes him look old. That's not really a question, Tim, but I feel you. Let's see, Floyd, would it be safe to promote my DJ business on LinkedIn, which is totally outside of my day job as a legal researcher? Interesting.
I like this question a lot. Personal branding is really all about people seeing a part of your real authentic self. And I'm not saying like all day, every day post about your DJ business. No, I'm not saying that, right? I'm definitely saying that it's important that people get to see your hobbies, the things you like, your family. They get to see a piece of you. Nobody really want nobody to just focusing on coding all day. Companies want real people with real interests, with real passions, with real hobbies. So it's important to maybe do the 80-20 rule, 20% of the time you talk about the things you like to do outside of work. 80% of the time you talk about the tech stuff, or you figure out what your percentage is going to be. But I think it's also important to know that there are a lot of people in tech that love music. So what's wrong with that? I love music. I love DJs. And I think during this pandemic is a great opportunity for you to do a DJ party and network and bring all the techies together and do your DJ thing.
All right, Club Quarantine Legal Edition. All right, let's see. Next, we got Daryl. I'm selective about people that I connect with on LinkedIn. Me too, D. I don't want to be a networking whore. Damn. And I just connect with anyone and everybody. How do I strike the balance between being out there and keeping your sphere manageable?
What was the question? I can't hear the last one.
He said, how do you strike the balance between being out there and keeping your sphere of connections manageable?
One thing I do is I vet the people that connect with me, because sometimes it's spam, sometimes it's people that have nothing to do with what I do. So I definitely am a person that before I accept, I do look at people's profile. So I got 300 pending connections that I have to go through that they may not, all 300 may not even need to be a part of my network, right? So it's very important that you look at people's profile, you see if there's any value that they can add or you can add to them. And if people are not sending you an introduction message and you don't feel comfortable accepting, just don't accept. I mean, you have the right to not accept people that are not really sending an introduction message. And then there's some people that don't send an introduction message, and I look at their profile, I'm like, they're a rock star. I want them a part of my network. I really don't care, because there's something there that I see on their profile, because they must did their profile correctly, that I still want to connect with them in some way. So for me, it's give or take.
Yeah. And I just my 2 cents on that. I'm very selective, but I accept a lot of people that I don't know if it looks like either I may be able to help them in the future or they may be able to help me in the future. So even if there's not an immediate, thing, if I like Kanika said, if I can see that there's a way for us to potentially benefit mutually, then yeah, I'll add them and we'll figure it out in the future. All right.
I also look at mutual connections too. So I also look at mutual connections, and the best way to really know if somebody real is to see how many mutual contacts you guys have in common. Because if we have a lot of mutual contacts in common, then you're probably a good fit for me.
All right, Jonathan, I'm gonna check out your profile and see if you're worthy.
Somebody said, please accept my.
All right, let's see. How do I find a mentor? I'll let you answer this, and I have an answer for that one too.
Okay. I talked about this recently. Mentoring is definitely something that I feel like when you're in the workplace and you're trying to find a mentor at work, that you really need to build and foster a relationship with that person, and they need to see that you are a rock star. A lot of people that are executive leaders or they have big time jobs, they're extremely busy, and they really need to know why you're reaching out. But they also, for me, I shine in meetings, I shine on projects, so they know when I reach out for them to mentor me, like I'm the real deal. I'm not going to reach out for them to be the mentor and I've only been there 2 weeks and I haven't even shown that I'm worthy of being mentored. I think that mentorship is another thing where people are just asking people to mentor them, and they're not knowing that mentors, they are busy and they have to dedicate a lot of time. You can also, someone put in the chat, peer-to-peer. I'm fine with actually mentoring, with having mentors of people that's on the same level as me at work, because they may have accomplished something that I'm trying to accomplish and they can mentor me. I think we look at mentorship as if it has to be somebody older or at a higher level within the organization than you. I am a big fan of virtual mentorship, meaning that I study people online. There are people that study me on Twitter that already got their Scrum Master certification just based off of me tweeting very valuable threads about how to become certified. If you study people on LinkedIn who is getting it, who is sharing their journey, you don't need them to mentor you. You could take notes from that. So we have to stop wanting to be babied and handheld all the time. And we have to really put in some work and study the greats the same way we study Jay-Z, Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and all the Barack Obama, all these other people. Study the people that's really getting it on LinkedIn.
And on Twitter and on Clubhouse. I mean, people dropping gems everywhere. You just got to look for them. All right, Jonathan says, just wanted to say thank you, Kanika, for your online presence. I found out about Scrum from you on Twitter. Like 2 weeks later, I went through Scrum Alliance and got my CSP, and CSPO. I'm in a non-tech role, going into tech for updating LinkedIn and showcasing experience. What's the best way to start highlighting your non-tech experiences to align with the tech role you're looking for?
How to highlight your non-tech experience?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to focus in on knowing that us tech professionals, we do need to highlight some of our, we call them soft skills, but they're not really soft, but we need to learn how to highlight and marry our communication, writing, management, presentation skills with our technology skills. Because I think that that's something that we just focus so much on is coding, and you got to be an excellent coder, and we're missing out on trying to marry the two together. So that's a way where you can marry things. Like if you want to say, I'm just going to use an example of the Scrum Master. Let's use the example of the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master really is someone that basically leads Scrum teams. That requires project management experience. It requires leading. And if you led teams before, or you were a manager before you got certified as a Scrum Master, you still can actually still be a good Scrum Master, just adding in the Scrum values and using the Scrum framework in managing your projects with the 1 to 4 week sprints. The things that you accomplished that were non-technical in the past, they still matter as a Scrum Master or as a project manager. I just think it's all about how you tell the story.
Good, good. Kimberly says, I've been in project management for over 10 years. I like to transition into consulting, but I'm feeling a bit pigeonholed as a PM. Any words of wisdom?
Being pigeonholed as a project manager?
Yes, wants to go into consulting.
I used to work for Deloitte. I think if you want to go into consulting, the best experience that you can get is to spend a couple of years at one of the Fortune 500 Big Four consulting firms. I think that's where you really learn your core consulting skill sets, like Deloitte, Booz Allen, PwC. There's a whole list of the top Big Four consulting firms. For those that want to be like consultants, I would say spend some time being in a consulting firm. And for those that don't want to be consultants, just don't go to those firms. If you want to be a hardcore systems integrator, then go to some of the other companies that focus in on core system integration and core technology and delivering services. But I spent a little while at consulting firms, and that helped me be able to like marry my technical skills with my consulting skills, and it's just a good fit. And then from there, you can go to smaller companies if you desire to go to a smaller company. I'm not big on telling people to work at Fortune 500 companies because that's not, they don't really put no respect on our name. So I just go there for what I can learn, and then I'm out.
I feel that. Okay. Nicole, finding a mentor has been a challenge. People of color in data science are so rare, and non-POC folks in this area do not take you seriously if you have a non-traditional path. What's your advice in this case?
My advice would be to join some data scientist groups. Google them, follow some on Instagram or Twitter, start attending data science related events, virtual events like, this event that we're having tonight. There's probably a lot of other data science. You have to use Eventbrite and use meetup.com and get into these communities, because there are some people that look like us that's in data science, but you got to be involved in the community. So use Eventbrite, meetup.com, and look for those groups, connect with those people, and then start to introduce yourself once you've attended a few virtual events and you started to get to know people in the group, and then start to introduce yourself and try to see if you can find a mentor that way. I'm not a big fan of saying that everybody that you network with or everybody that mentor you got to be Black. That's not really what I'm with. So I'm going to be straight up right now, is that sometimes there are going to be people that don't look like you that could be the best mentor for you. Mm-hmm. You have to go with based upon character, integrity, back to building the relationship, right? Because there's been some white men that have had my back, and I'm not going, and there's been some Black people that didn't have my back at work. So you have to look at someone's heart before you decide whether they're a good mentor. So I ain't rocking with just only Black mentors. I'm rocking with who gonna help me.
Yeah, real talk. And we are working on a formalized program for mentors of Blacks in technology in conjunction with Microsoft. So that'll be rolling out soon. So if you're a member, hopefully we can find somebody that fits what you're looking for.
That's really good. That's a good matchup.
Yeah. All right. So that was all in the Q&A. questions. So we got through all the questions. That was good.
Some
Now,
people are asking, Dennis, can you drop the links in the chat? Before we end, guys, I want to make sure that you guys have links to the Career Rehab book. I'm launching a career coaching tech program in the March. And I want you guys to apply if you're interested in working directly with me in a group coaching. And I want to give you guys a link to my website so you can join my mailing list, because all the things that me and Dennis talked about tonight in the group coaching program, you're going to get the full Career Rehab tech redo to have the tech career of your dreams. And I want you to be able to make sure that you sign up. So when I launch it, you guys can come to the webinar and you guys can talk with me more, and I can explain to you how the program is going to work. But I want to be able to go through the entire Career Rehab process with you, and I want to see you guys win. I want to see you guys be able to thrive within your tech career. What this program is for those that's in tech, and this program will also be for those that are transitioning into tech. But it's going to be for my cool geeks, my corporate rebels, and my career dropouts. For those that read the book, they know what I'm talking about. Those are the personas.
all right. And Ronnie, I apologize. I missed your question. And actually, we still have time. If anybody wants to ask a question live, just use the raise your hand function. I'll unmute your mic and you can ask your question live that way.
Ask me anything. I'm here for you guys.
All right, there's Ronnie. All right. There she is.
Mute. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, great. I think I might be on the wrong platform, but I'm an owner of an independent television broadcasting network. And I have found out that, of course, we operate off of servers. And so what we're trying to do is eliminate the person or the middleman that handles the servers. And so what I'm trying to find out, which is why I got on signed up for the group, is do you have any knowledge of any of the digital television media platforms? Because all of that is technology that I don't know about. And so I'm trying to find out what is the best way to transition off of having someone else to monitor our platform, you know, pretty much do everything from the platform to us having the servers in-house.
That sounds like it's outside the scope of this conversation.
I can't help you. I can't help you with that. You can inbox me after you can hit me up on LinkedIn. I did some work with Warner Media. I think I got some people over there that was doing IT for Warner Media. But I can't, that ain't even in my lane, Dennis. I'm a project manager, so I don't know nothing about that.
I want to help Ronnie. I don't know. All right, let's see. Is Michael?
Yeah, hey, two things. One, I actually might be able to help with that. Part of what I do is cloud and virtual systems, both what's called on-prem, like you have them on your site, as well as being hosted on cloud, but also things like being able to monitor those things where you're not having to have your eyeballs glued to the monitor 24/7.
Well, Michael, I suggest you connect with Ronnie offline.
Yes. But my question, I actually did have a legit question. Sorry. What happens with me is I will talk to these people. I will network online. I'll get interview requests. I'm not a 20s straight out of internship guy. So as soon as I walk in the room, they take one look at me. I'm an older guy, and they're like, "Oh." And you can pretty much tell at that point I'm just going through the motions. How do I'm wondering, am I just targeting like the wrong companies, all the big corps? Need to try smaller networking groups?
That's really a good question. So that is, sometimes we call it ageism, where people are.
It is, but you can't prove it.
Yeah, and you can't prove it, and it's a real thing. It happens to a lot of people. You know, Michael, I was going to say, and maybe Dennis, I don't know. I don't know. Dennis may have some advice too, but I'm gonna give my advice first is that I think it's important to be strategic in who you network with. So I wouldn't, if it was me, okay, I'm just gonna say I'm 37 years old. And if I was transitioning into tech, I think I would be connecting with other 37-year-olds because I will be willing to be able to tell my story and connect with them, just not from a perspective of like life, where I'm at in my life. I'm a married woman, family, and all those. I think when we're trying to get into companies, we need to find like-minded people that see us, but also understands our situation and understands us. I think sometimes we can go work with a recruiter or a hiring manager or another thought leader on LinkedIn that understands that you're transitioning into a new role and opportunity, and you can develop a relationship with them and be real with them about where you are within your certain situation. Connecting with another 20-some-year-old, they not really may necessarily have a whole lot in common with you, and they may shade you and look at you like, oh, who is this guy, right? But I think connecting with like-minded people, not just from their professional LinkedIn profile, but also from how their personal life reflects with your personal life.
Good point. Good point.
I mean, I don't know, Dennis, do you have anything?
Why? Because I'm old.
Well, I mean,
I was hoping for a connection.
actually, Jess. So my, and it's real. Ageism is real. And my experience has been when you're looking for a job and you have the opportunity to present yourself as younger. You want to do things like you might want to remove the graduation year off your resume. You may want to, not have every job you work, but maybe jobs the last 10 years that you work. Things like that you can do that, won't get you eliminated immediately. Mm-hmm. And then let your work speak for you. You can use your age as a benefit because age equals experience and wisdom. And that's something that you can't mimic or recreate just because you took a class. You've done it. So leverage that and use it to your advantage.
Thanks.
All right, let's see. Let's go to Daryl. Actually, Daryl, you asked the question already. I don't know if I should give you the mic, but I'm gonna give you a mic. See if we can make it short. I'm gonna allow you to talk.
All right, so I've never really had what I would call a mentor. Somehow I bumbled and stumbled myself up the ladder to become an IT director, which puts me in position to mentor others, but I've never really had that mentor-mentee relationship, and I feel like I'm kind of winging it sometimes. What are some tools and tips to be an effective mentor?
To be an effective mentor, or to find yourself a mentor?
To be an effective mentor.
To be an effective mentor?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think one thing is being an active listener and really listening to people is important. I think that's super important when you're mentoring people. I think customizing solutions for people, because everybody that's mentored it's not a one-size-fits-all solution for everyone that comes to you with the issues that they have and the things that they're trying to navigate. So I think it's important to really, once you listen to their problems and listen to the things that they're trying to accomplish, that you provide customizable solutions, because winging it, you can't just keep telling Kanika, Dennis, and Greg, everybody may don't get the same advice. Everybody may have different situations. Another thing is being a good mentor is saying that that's out of my lane, but I got somebody else for you that's a better fit. Because if you're winging it, and you may sometimes don't have the answer, or you may say, hey, I know Kanika, or I know Dennis, and I've worked with them for a long time, or I've studied them from afar. I think they would be a good fit. Let me see if I can do an introduction. Sometimes we take on too many mentees, and somebody out there is a better fit that can give them the nurturing love and care that they really need for their career. So I think it's very important. I don't like to mentor a whole bunch of people, because I don't want me to be non-effective in people's success. I don't know, Dennis, did you have anything?
Yeah, it just don't put too much pressure on yourself to have all the answers. And I think what Kanika said was good. If you don't know, find somebody that might be able to help. And the best thing that you can do for a mentee is just be real with them.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anybody that I've talked to either as a mentee or mentor that they knew or I knew 100% of what was going on and how to perfectly address it. So don't put that pressure on yourself. All right, let's see, Tim.
Thank you. You actually answered part of my question earlier. I posted the one about the long LinkedIn profile, because you only think you're old. But I've, all my experiences in technology. I've had the fortune, blessing, or curse to have been on a government contract for over 20 plus years as a,
Wow.
developer, lead, and all that kind of stuff. But you get pigeonholed. So the fear becomes to make the next move. You've been in like one set of technologies, even though I do keep myself abreast of stuff. Should I trim down my LinkedIn profile from 1976? That's all technology, nothing else, or just leave that for the resume. And as the other gentleman said, if you do make it through the certain doors, when you eventually show up, well, you're going to be old and black.
Old and black. I agree. I kind of agree with Dennis in giving go back 10 years. I always say 10 to 15 years. I would definitely trim down the LinkedIn profile. In this digital age, that's the easiest way for people to kind of see. I would not go back into my 1970s at all. I wouldn't. I definitely would be focusing on providing relevant, cutting edge technology of skill sets that I've learned. So if your skills are rusty and you don't understand cloud, AI, Internet of Things, you don't understand Python, you don't understand all the buzzwords that fit into your box, the best way for somebody that's older into tech to kind of bring all that great institutional knowledge with them is to know the new stuff. If you can't run with the young cats, then we ain't really rocking with you. So be able to run with the young cats, and that will help you. I'm not saying you have to actually know everything, but know it enough to talk about it. So they can say, okay, he can at least manage it. He can at least administer these things, because the youngins, they're taking the shortcut. They are making six figures. My clients are making six figures before the age of 30, and they know it all, and they hungry and they study. So I just think the older folks got to be just as hungry, and they got to do basketball players, they go to practice. You got to stay in practice.
Here, let me say that's the whole thing. That's the perception. But I actually am cloud certified and on leading edge Go technology, a lot of stuff. And still having all that's in the resume, you still come up against that wall. Yeah, I'm the probably the sharpest guy on my team, and that's fine. But as looking for new opportunities, you hit that wall of, okay, yeah, I know all of this stuff. I know the old stuff. I know the new stuff. I'm currently, I'm on this call today.
Are you looking for like C-suite level roles? I mean, what type of roles are you applying to?
No, I'm really not one to go. I don't want to do paperwork. I still like the code. I like the new, I like to be in the grind. And every team I've been on, I end up mentoring other developers and stuff. But it's one of these deals where, for me, I've been blessed. I have not technically really had to look, but funding mechanisms are changing in this contract that I've been on. Like you say cut off, 15 years. I've been on this contract for 22. So
within 22 years, you don't have a network?
Well, it's when you say don't have a network, I do. And a lot of that is C-suite type people.
Is it possible that you can leverage your network of being on a contract for 22 years, working with stakeholders, working with clients, working with other possible vendors that you've come in contact?
Yeah, that's kind of a revolving door. And I guess I guess I should say I'm not looking for a specific, I'm just looking for a generalization of how to move past that, because, I'm not there where I'm in search, but I like to be prepared. And the times that I have gone out while still in this position and doing consulting projects on the side, I constantly do that. I've gone through some of these these interviews where like, okay, I know I'm more qualified than you because I can answer your questions better than you, but as the other gentleman said, they're just going through the motions. Get this old guy out of here. So so anyway, I don't want to drag this down. Yeah.
No, I think you just need to find a company that's going to be that right fit for you. It's not a matter of your qualifications, obviously. And sometimes it is really, they say culture fit, but sometimes it really is a culture fit. You got to find that place that's gonna, respect you. And chances are, if they're trying to weed you out, it's probably not the place that you want to be anyway. So they're probably doing you a favor.
Most definitely think. And one last quick thing, for the meet, you have a lot of these meetings at like 2 and 1, which is like in the middle of the day. Is there any way?
Depends on where you are.
I'm in Colorado, so yeah.
Exactly. And, I'm going to try to distribute the times a little bit, but the majority of our members are heavily weighted towards East Coast U.S. But we have people in Europe, we have people in Africa, we have people, in New Zealand.
Understand.
So,
all right. Thank you. It's a great forum. I'll try and meet it, to touch and listen in on as many as I can, because I enjoy seeing people of color. I've been that only spot in the oatmeal for a long time.
Yeah,
Thanks for your question, Tim.
Thank you. All right. We are at 8. Kanika, do you want to do one more?
Yeah, we can still keep going.
Okay.
Whatever questions are in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to stop at Ishmael because I'm doing the live questions right now. So everybody keep it short and we'll get through these questions. All right. Helen.
Hello. Hey guys. How you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to share, you was earlier in the conversation, you was telling people to do the meetup. I just want to also bring up, there's a new trend to networking. So I wanted people to know about, there's a site called lunchclub.ai, where you can actually schedule to meet with different people, like 2 to 3 to 4 different people every week. And then there's another website that's called meetcafecito.com. It's the same theory. And then also I wanted to bring up for that Michael dude. One thing I have learned, I always learn to be friends with everybody. So I make sure to find somebody in every generation. So I got a boomer friend, a Gen X, millennial, Gen Z, and I make sure I have friends in all those demographics. So when I do come across some ageism, because we got to be real, the changing of the guard is happening. I'm a Gen X, so I understand Gen Z trying to get in and millennial, they're trying to move up. Hey, we all had our turn at the wheel, I try to do that, and then also look for social networks. Like, I'm a developer, so there's a lot of developer groups out there, whether they have their own platform, like Make-A-Log. It's just nothing but developers that's trying to have a side hustle and have their own product. And that platform is every race, every age, every gender, non-binary and all of that. So that kind of like helped me to expose myself to other folks. So when I do need help, I know I have somebody I can go to. So I really highly suggest Michael to do that, to try to find, wherever he's in, just try to find a social network or a Slack group or LinkedIn group, like you said earlier. So I really appreciate that. My question for me was, I was wondering, have any advice on trying to network with like non-technical organizations? Like, I'm actually, my business, I'm trying to find work for developers. So I'm trying to expose them to non-technical industries that will need developers help, that they don't have dedicated resource for developers, but they need developers help. So I'm just realizing that by me being in tech for so long, my domain expertise is in technology. And I'm still learning about all the different industries there are out there. And there's so many. I was just wondering, do you have any advice on just really trying to network with non-technical industries, specifically for like small and medium-sized businesses?
I would suggest the Black Chamber of Commerce, or I mean, well, Chamber of Commerce. Everything is Black to me these days. It's Black History Month. Chamber of Commerce for your region might be a good place to start. They typically have events and can provide you with a network of organizations. Another place is Small Business Administration. If you're looking for just other general, just general type business and, organizations. So got that. And then, obviously your tech network. I mean, I do tech, but, I do other stuff too, so, the Slack channel and Bit is, a plethora of resources for people who, want to talk tech or non-tech. So hopefully that helps, Helen. All right, real quick, Allie. Oh, let me let you talk. There we go. Allie.
Hi.
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 Hi, Dennis and Kanika. Thank you for the gems. Definitely learned a lot. I'm actually that Gen Z person, so it's interesting hearing kind of the other side, because like on our end, we're like, companies don't want to hire juniors, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so I guess we all have problems. But yeah, someone had asked earlier in the chat about how, you go from hello, hi in terms of networking to, building an actual relationship. And he worded it as like closing the deal. So I thought that was a good question. I think it was missed. So I wanted to, bring that back up. And then also, I run a career development platform community called Baddies in Tech. And it is for more Gen Z, Black and brown women in tech and getting into tech. So like Gen Z and like younger millennial. And we are launching our career development portal, our networking portal soon. And that comes with, like a lot of our community is looking for career coaching and mentorship. So if anyone, in this chat wants to be a resource, and then Kanika, specifically, you were mentioning your career coaching program, that could be a community to really tap into. So I'd love to connect on that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely connect with me in LinkedIn and I can share more information about the program.
Sure.
So you said your question was about really closing the deal with networking.
Oh, I just took her off.
Okay.
I thought we were, sorry. Did you want to answer?
No. I think we touched on it.
Okay. All right. Greg, real quick.
Hey, Kanika.
Hey, what's up, Greg?
I'm doing all right. First off, I want to just shout you out and for doing a great job and providing everyone with a wealth of great gems. Everyone give Kanika a round of applause, a snap, some hands in the air, wave them like you just don't. Thanks to all the attendees for joining us tonight, taking some time out of your evening. A couple of things that I wanted to announce, or I wanted to state here. To Kanika earlier, she mentioned about expanding your brand or building on your own personal brand and Blacks in Technology. So we have the foundation, which is the 501c3 nonprofit, and we also have blacksintechnology.net, where we post a lot of our media content, blogs, podcasts, video podcasts, things of that nature. So we haven't announced this yet, but we're going to be kind of rebranding a little bit with the way that we do things. So we're going to be looking for contributors and writers. We're also going to be looking for a couple of new podcasters, because we're going to be doing things a little bit differently as far as the podcast. It hasn't been announced yet, but we're going to be kind of segmenting our podcast, because right now I pretty much do all the podcasts, and it's just a clump of just everyone. So we're going to be segmenting it according to careers. So we'll have a Blacks in Technology kind of our Bit Tech Talk podcast careers, one for startups, and what was the other one? And another one for, I'm trying to look here in Slack. So careers, and just news, right? So it'll be a couple of people collaborating, talking about the news of the day, whether it's related to related to people or Black people in tech, or not, something that can be associated with or has some benefit to Black people in tech. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to have an announcement, but I just wanted to put that out there. So if you're looking to contribute, if you're looking to increase your personal brand, hit me up, contact us at blacksintechnology.net, and we'll get that going. What else? I did put my LinkedIn stuff in the chat, so reach out to me. Super accessible. Sign up to the Bit Foundation if you haven't already. I'll repost that link into the chat as well. And also, I think Dennis already mentioned the Slack, but that Slack link is also in the chat. But I just wanted to say great job, Kanika. And Dennis, I didn't know if we were still doing the whole book thing or what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to announce it? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know the format of it. I don't know what you wanted to do with that, but
okay. So
we do have the books.
Yeah. So what we're going to raffle off the book. So for the attendees who are in attendance, we got Career Rehab. I'm going to select a handful of folks to receive it. So if you get a follow-up email from me, I'll just need your address to send you the book. But if you don't, no fret. We have other events and you can have an opportunity to win something else. But we definitely got a lot of free stuff. If you didn't know who Greg was, Greg Greenlee is the founder of Blacks in Technology. So he's just not a random dude that's bigging us up. He's actually somebody who actually has a vested interest in seeing us do big things. So thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Thank you, Kanika, once again.
Thank you.
By the way, tell Kanika, she spoke at BitCon. So BitCon is going to, and we haven't announced this yet, but BitCon will be happening this year virtually. So people who are also looking to increase their personal brand, once we start putting out the call for papers, make sure that you, if you're looking to, again, increase your personal brand, make sure you submit a paper. So
we got a lot of big stuff going on.
We got a lot of stuff. Yeah, I
guess I know, but definitely sign up if you're not a member. We got scholarships, we got like some mentorship program, we got BitCon coming up, opportunities to promote yourself and to network with others. So yeah. All right. So that's the big commercial. All right, Greg, I'm taking you off.
Thank you.
All right, one more, because I said I was going to stop at Ishmael. So real quick, Ishmael. I'm sorry, Sandy. I don't know if we'll get to you, but Ish, you're on. Hi, Ish. We can't hear you. All right, I'll give you one more second. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna go to Sandy then. And Sandy, you lucked out. All right. Maybe Sandy lucked out. Sandy. All right, going once.
I'm going to drop my LinkedIn in the for those that are still left. I'm going to go ahead and drop my LinkedIn URL in the chat so you guys can connect with me.
And I'm going to repost the links for the book and the coaching and the website. Feel free to follow up with me. I'm the only Black Dennis Schultz on LinkedIn. I'm not hard to find.
It sounds like you could be a white man,
I'll tell you a story later about that. But yeah, you can definitely connect with me. I will accept your connection requests, especially if you mention Bit. And if if there was a question that you had that we didn't get to, please let me know. I'll see if I can get it to Kanika, and we can get your questions answered. But thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you was able to learn some new networking techniques. I think it's so important for you to connect with Greg and the Blacks in Technology organization to build your personal brand. This is your community, guys. This is a way for you guys to grow. So if you want to get into podcasting, you want to get into speaking, speak at the virtual conference. I spoke there. I've connected with Greg and so many other great, amazing speakers. And if you guys want to do anything, whether it's a book, podcast, YouTube channel, if you want to create your own blog, take your technology experience and just continue to allow your personal brand to flourish. And it will if you guys invest in the time and if you invest in building your community. I am always on LinkedIn. You guys can always connect with me and DM me with good questions, good introduction messages. I will definitely accept your request. And I want to thank Dennis so much for moderating this amazing session tonight. This was amazing. The questions were amazing. Everything just turned out so well.
Thank you, Kanika. And I apologize for not being prepared, but I think it turned out pretty well. And for the folks who may have joined late, we will be posting this recording within 24 hours to our YouTube channel. So be sure to check it out from the beginning if you couldn't. All right, thanks again, everyone. Have a good night. And Kanika, much appreciated, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.